So I think this is really important for the beginner to hear so far, because you can often just walk into the store, maybe you'll get the right size, but you'll just take the bike and walk out and not change anything. And a lot of athletes might not even realise what length their crank length was. You know, they might have never even heard any of those numbers. So to start working through this list is really good. What else should you be looking at to kind of upgrade on the bike to get more out of that bike rather than just taking it out of the store as it is?
Yeah, I think there's a lot that you can go into with this as well. You know, hopefully, barring the bike's built right, you know, you're out your riding, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the bike has been tailored perfectly to you and your needs. You know, most mainstream bike manufacturers will come out with a stock chainring ratio, which you'll find now is getting tailored across all their bikes, basically. So chainring ratios are hugely important, which get overlooked all the time, whether it's for road racing or whether it's for triathlon TT, once again. So it's an area which, you know, isn't talked about enough unless you're really diving into it quite deep. So you've got different gear range sets. So you have what's called compact, pro compact or semi-compact, and traditional. So compact being in Shimano's range of things and more traditionally 50-34, pro compact, semi-compact being 52-36, and then your traditional being 53 or 54-39.
So just for the listener who's new to this, and we want to make sure everybody's on track with us, we're talking about the amount of teeth in the front chain ring.
Yes.
And if you counted them, it would be 50 or 52 or 53 or 54 or 55 at the front. And the small chain ring at the front could be 39 or 36 or 34.
Yep. Or if they're the mainstream sizes and the most popular sizes, you can get other ones outside of that. Why it's important is similar to, you know, getting the right bike. It's goal specific. You know, I would hope that somebody is not going into a store and getting a 53-39 front chaining ratio and then going and racing Boardwalk Classic or Peaks the following week. You can probably do it.
And why?
You're not going to have a great time doing it though.
It's obvious to the majority of people, but for the newbie, why is that a bad choice?
Because it's a super hard gear ratio, which
What's happening to your cadence?
It's dropping big time. So unless you're super, super strong. So, and that's, you know, there's more to it than that, because then you have to tailor the cassette at the back, which is, you know, depending on what sort of bike you've got, it could be 10 speed, 11 speed, now 12 speed. So it's making sure that you have the right gear range for your goal, your style of riding, your purpose, basically. And that changes, you know, that changes from whether you're doing Peaks Challenge to, you know, the guys 2 weeks ago raced Melbourne to Warrnambool, that sort of thing. So you can generally get away with the stock setup, but if you're buying a bike and tailoring a bike exactly how you want it to be, then ask the question.
This is really important, isn't it? So the course determines your setup, and you could have a setup for Peaks and Bor. They're just 2 examples of massively, you know, 4,000 metres of climbing. Or you could be doing the Melbourne to Warrnambool, which has got, you know, it's still got climbing, but it's, you know, you don't need a bigger range of options to be pedalling in the right cadence range. That's what you're really saying, isn't it?
Pretty much. And then, you know, there's great data coming out now on drivetrain friction and the way you should ride your gear range, which goes deeper into this. You know, something like the Melbourne to Warrnambool, where, you know, you might average anywhere from 40 to 45k an hour, then if you've got a 52 tooth chainring at the back and your rear cassette could be an 1128, you're going to be in the bottom half of that cassette majority of the day. So you bump that chainring at the front up to a 54 tooth, it brings the chain up the cassette, means you're riding in the middle of the cassette a lot more, which does 2 things. 1, reduces your drivetrain friction. 2, reduces the wear on your componentry, so you're not sort of reaching into the wallet couple of months' time to replace everything. And 2, it just gives you a smoother gear to ride in. And, you know, it makes it a little less grindy depending on how you look after your bike.
Yeah, so, and there's nothing worse than hearing that or feeling in the chain where you're sitting in the 11, you know, 39, which I regularly do. Which is, you know,
not great.
And it is, you know, potentially every bit of thing that upsets you when you're under the pump, and that's one of them. That you know, it's like having the brakes on.
Yeah, and it's all relative, and it all stems back to sort of you know, losing power, gaining power, friction drag, right? So you'll see your World Tour riders once again, and guys like Garner, Giro TT, he's running a 58 tooth chainring at the front, he's running 11.28 at the back. Now, yes, he is incredibly strong. He rode like 58k an hour average speed for that race. He needs that 58 tooth chainring at the front so that on the downhills, he's not spinning out, he's still got control, he's still pedaling well. But more importantly, it's so that that chain is up higher in the cassette so that he's not losing any power, any drag through that. SRAM have invented 12-speed. Now, it means you've got a 10-tooth at the bottom versus a 11-tooth. And their gear range at the front now is different compared to what we're used to. On paper, it's great. It's brilliant. It gives you a much broader spectrum of gears. It gives you a much bigger range so that you don't need to chop and change chainrings. The downfall for most top-end age groupers or most top-end sort of riders means you're riding in that bottom half of the cassette a lot more. So you're wearing down things a lot more. You're also putting a lot more drag through the drivetrain. I think it was Friction Facts maybe did a test on it. That 10-tooth has 6 watts of drag just through that one cog, which most people would say 6 watts doesn't make that much of a difference. But you add up 6 watts on that 111-tooth, you add up drag on your tyres, you add up drag on your hub bearings, it all adds up. It's all relative. So, and also it's wearing down that chainring's even quicker. So it's going to cost you more in the long run. So there's a lot with it. So a huge part is chainring and cassette choice when you're getting your bike.